I was actually down at the local courts this past weekend, just grabbing a coffee and sort of half watching the morning warm-ups. And there is always that one guy, I mean, you know exactly who I'm
Yes,
talking about,
I think I
Brian.
do. The guy who looks like he is about to just walk on and qualify for Wimbledon.
Yes, exactly that guy. He is out there and he is absolutely crushing the ball. I mean, the sound coming off his strings is literally like a cannon shot. Pow, pow. His form is pristine. His footwork during the warm-up is electric.
Yeah.
And you are standing by the fence thinking, okay, I'm about to get completely destroyed today. I should probably just pack my bag and go home.
Yeah, it is intimidating. But then you actually start the match. You spin the racket, you start keeping score.
And the illusion just entirely evaporates. 3 games in, he is down 3-0. He is shaking his head. He is muttering to himself. He's overhitting the back fence by like 10 feet. And suddenly you realize you are winning, even though you're hitting the ball with maybe half the pace and half the style.
Right.
It is the ultimate tennis paradox. Immense physical talent, but zero actual competitive results.
Well, in the source material we are looking at today, specifically from the Asian tennis circles, they have a really perfect name for this exact character. They call him the Cao Ge, or in English, the rough brother.
The rough brother. I love that. It sounds like a boss from an old kung fu movie, but is really just the guy imploding on court 4.
It is. And the thing is, when we usually watch the rough brother fall apart, we tend to diagnose it entirely wrong. We look at him and say, oh, his forehand broke down, or he's just having a bad day.
Yeah, lost his timing.
Right. But the research we have suggests something much more fundamental. It is not a technical failure at all. It is a processing error. The rough brother loses because his brain basically has no options selected.
No options selected. That sounds like a fatal system error on a laptop.
It is surprisingly similar, actually. So today we are going on a deep dive into tennis IQ. We are going to strip away all the highlight reels and the glamour and look at the actual hierarchy of tactical planning from Plan A all the way down to the desperate chaos of Plan C.
We are going to find out why hitting a 100-mile-an-hour forehand is completely useless if you do not know why you're hitting it in the first place. So let us start by dissecting this rough brother archetype a bit more, because you mentioned off-air that rough does not mean bad form.
No, not at all. Rough in this context refers to a total lack of nuance. It is a low-resolution mental map of the game. When you analyze these players, they almost always suffer from 3 very specific blind spots. The sources call them the 3 onlys.
The 3 onlys. All right, let us unpack the first one. What is it?
The first one is only one weapon. So imagine a carpenter who walks onto a job site, right? But the only tool he brought with him in his whole truck is a massive sledgehammer.
Okay, just a hammer.
Right. To that carpenter, every single problem looks like something that needs to be smashed. And that is the rough brother. Every ball coming over the net, whether it is a high floater, a low skidding slice, or a deep, heavy topspin ball, he just sees it as a nail.
But wait a second, because usually these guys can hit other shots. I mean, I have seen the rough brother hit a beautiful slice in the warm-ups. It is not like his arm is physically incapable of hitting a drop shot.
Physically, sure, the mechanics are there.
Yeah.
But mentally, that option is completely grayed out. It is unavailable to him. When the pressure spikes during a real match, their brain just tunnels. They do not see a slice or a lob or a slow roll as viable solutions. They only see smash.
Right, so when you give them a low skidding ball that is physically impossible to attack, they do not adjust.
And they try to smash it anyway.
And they dump it right into the bottom of the net.
Every single time. It is a software limitation, not a hardware one, which leads directly to the second fatal flaw. Only one placement.
This is a comfort zone issue, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The rough brother plays the ball. He does not play the opponent. Let us say his absolute favorite shot, the one that makes him feel like a pro, is the cross-court forehand. He will hit that shot because it feels good to hit, not because it is the right tactical decision for that specific moment.
Oh, man. I see this constantly. The opponent is literally standing in the cross-court corner, practically drinking a water bottle, waiting for it. And the rough brother still rips it right directly to them.
Because he is looking at his own racket. He is thinking, wow, I crushed that ball perfectly. Look at that topspin.
While his opponent just sticks their racket out and blocks it down the line for a winner.
Right. The rough brother is basically playing a game of catch with himself. Which leads us to the third flaw. No match reading.
The blindness factor.
Completely blind. They cannot see if the opponent is breathless or angry or terrified of their backhand. They're playing solitaire while the other person is playing chess. And the real tragedy is when this one-dimensional approach fails, when the sledgehammer stops working, they panic.
And I am guessing the only response to panic for a rough brother is to
Swing harder.
swing harder, right?
No.
Which just accelerates the entire loss. Okay, so that is the how to lose model. It is brute force without a brain. Let us flip the script entirely. If the rough brother is just reacting out there, what is a high IQ player doing? The sources talk about this concept called Zhaofen.
Zhaofen. Yes, it translates literally to creating points. And this is probably the biggest mental shift for you as a listener to understand. It is the core difference between hunting and farming.
Hunting versus farming. I really like that analogy.
Well, the rough brother is a hunter. He is out there trying to kill the prey on every single shot. But the high IQ player is a farmer. He cultivates the point. He creates the specific conditions where the harvest just becomes inevitable. The formula the sources give us is quite beautiful, actually. Pressure plus opportunity equals harvest.
Pressure plus opportunity equals harvest. So it implies you have to do the actual work before you get the reward. You cannot just skip to the end of the point.
Exactly. You have to lay the groundwork. And the absolute gold standard for this, even now looking back at his data, is Novak Djokovic. His point construction was just surgical. The source material highlights a classic four-shot sequence that explains this farming concept perfectly.
Walk us through it. 4 shots to win a point, but he is not trying to hit a winner on the first 3, right?
Right. So imagine you are playing Novak. Shot 1, he hits a deep, heavy backhand cross court. Now he is not trying to blow it past you. He is just pushing you back behind the baseline. He is taking away your ability to attack him.
Okay, so shot 1 is purely about territory. I am pushed back against the fence. I am defensive. What is shot 2?
Shot 2 is a forehand down the line. This is the wrong footing shot. You're moving back cross-court to recover from the first shot, and now suddenly you have to stop, turn, and sprint the completely opposite way.
So now my balance is broken. I am scrambling hard.
You are scrambling. Now, shot 3, he goes backhand cross-court again. Because you just scrambled to the line for the previous shot, the entire opposite side of the court is now wide open. He hits it into that huge empty space. You run for your life. You manage to get a racket on it somehow, but you are now like 10 feet outside the doubles alley.
I am totally out of position. I am just dead in the water at this point.
And now comes the harvest. Shot 4 is the drop shot. You are deep, you are winded, your legs are burning, and you are completely off the court. He just softly touches the ball, it dies over the net. But here's the crucial insight. He did not win the point with the drop shot.
No, he won it 3 shots ago.
Exactly. He won it when he broke your balance on shot 2. The rough brother tries to hit shot 4 immediately on the very first ball. Djokovic builds the house before he tries to put the roof on.
That is such a clear distinction. High IQ is creating a deficit in the opponent, stealing their time or their space or their balance before you finally pull the trigger. But to do that, you really need a plan. You cannot just wing it out there. And this is where the source material gets super technical in a cool way. We always hear commentators talk about plan A and plan B, but there's a layer in between that I think most people completely miss. Plan A1.
This is a huge concept to grasp. A lot of players think, if my game is not working, I need to change my strategy completely. I need to be someone else. That is usually wrong. You do not abandon your identity. You just tweak the variables. That is plan A1.
Let us look at a concrete example for this. We have Elena Rybakina. She is a pure power player. Big serve, flat, heavy ground strokes.
Yeah.
That is her DNA, right? She is not going to suddenly start moonballing like a clay quarter.
Right. If she tries to be someone else, she loses her main advantage. So let us look at the 2026 Doha Open, and specifically referencing her tactical adjustments against Zhang Qinwen. Rybakina's analytics team had data showing that Zhang really struggled with wide serves on the deuce court.
Okay, so plan A is just I serve big to wherever.
Right, but plan A1 is I serve big specifically to the wide deuce, over and over. She did not change her service motion. She did not have to learn a brand new skill in the middle of a high-stakes match. She just spammed a specific placement that the data said would work. It is a micro adjustment.
It is basically like finding a glitch in a video game boss battle and just exploiting it relentlessly.
Exactly. Or think about rhythm changes. This is another really common form of plan A1. You are a heavy baseliner, but you deliberately throw in one slice or one high moon ball during a 20-shot rally. Not because you want to rush the net, but just to break the other guy's rhythm. You are still playing your game. That is your plan A. You're just making it really annoying to deal with. That is plan A1.
So plan A1 is I am still me, just a slightly smarter version of me today. But then we have the heavy lifting, plan B. This is where things get super psychological.
Plan B is a massive systemic shift. This is what you do when plan A is being completely neutralized.
Right.
Or maybe you are just playing terribly and you literally have to become a different player to survive the match.
And we have a really tragic, or I guess educational is the better word, case study here with Aryna Sabalenka at the 2026 Australian Open. Reading this story actually made me feel for her quite a bit.
It is a fascinating look at what coaches call the trust gap. So Sabalenka knows she is a power baseliner. That is her plan A. But she wants another slam title. She knows she needs variety to get through 2 weeks, so she explicitly trains in doubles leading up to the slam to build a real net game. She wants a legitimate, functional plan B.
And she actually used it. Early in the tournament against Potapova, she was out there serving and volleying, hitting these beautiful touch volleys, using drop shots. She looked like a complete all-court player.
She did. She proved to herself and the whole world that she had the skill. But then she gets to the final against Rybakina. The pressure is absolute maximum. The trophy is sitting right there on the line. And what happens?
She just stops coming to the net.
Cold turkey. She retreats entirely back to the baseline.
Why, though? That is the maddening part as a spectator. She proved she could do it all week long. Why stop doing it when it matters most?
Because of fear. Look at the mental math she is doing. Coming to the net might have had a 90% success rate for her, technically in practice. She knew she could make the volley. But in a Grand Slam final against a huge server like Rybakina, that 10% risk, the tiny risk of getting passed down the line, felt catastrophic to her.
She just did not trust the new software yet.
Exactly. The gap between having 90% technical skill and 100% mental trust is where championships are lost. She retreated to the safety of the baseline, even though it was actively the losing strategy against Rybakina that day.
That is a wildly powerful lesson for anyone playing a sport. She chose a comfortable death over a risky victory.
That is the ultimate definition of the trust gap. You can have all the shiny new tools in your racket bag, but if you do not have the guts to unzip that pocket when the stadium lights are bright, they are totally useless.
So plan A is identity. Plan A1 is adjustment. Plan B is transformation, which requires a ton of courage. But we have got 2 more categories to cover on the extreme ends of the spectrum. We have Plan C and we have the instinct player. Let us talk about Plan C first. This is what I call chaos mode.
Chaos mode is right. Plan C is the pure gamble. This is Nick Kyrgios or Alexander Bublik. Bublik is the absolute undisputed king of this. When things are not working for him, he does not go to a calm tactical plan B. He goes straight to chaos. He will step up and hit a 200-kilometer-per-hour second serve.
Which is just insane. He is treating a second serve like a first serve. The risk of double faulting is massive.
He does not care. He is willing to double fault just for the random chance of hitting an ace and getting a free point. Or he will pull out that underarm serve, or those weird slow aces. You know, the ones that go like 25 kilometers an hour with crazy side spin that just bounce sideways into the fence.
But you make a really clear distinction here in our notes. This is not just mixing it up the way a player like Zheng Sai does.
Yeah, right. When a player like Zheng Sai changes speeds constantly, that is a deliberate system.
Right.
That is calculated disruption that falls under plan A or B for her. Plan C is literally a roll of the dice. It is pure desperation. It is a player saying, I have no idea what to do right now. Nothing makes sense. So I am going to do something completely crazy and just hope it confuses you more than it confuses me.
It is not a sustainable long-term strategy.
No, definitely not. It is a shock tactic. It is a flashbang grenade to just hit reset on the match.
Now, on the completely other end of the spectrum from that chaotic gambler, we have the instinctive genius. The source material points directly to Karolina Muchova for this.
Muchova is so special because she actually defies this whole tactical hierarchy we just built. She does not really have a strict plan A or plan B. Her entire game is pure reaction. She's basically playing jazz out there.
Jazz versus classical music.
Exactly. If you step back, she drops it short. If you rush the net, she lobs you. If you hit hard, she slices it slow. She is improvising in real time based entirely on the flow of the incoming ball.
But even geniuses have kryptonite, right?
They do. The vulnerability of the jazz player is overwhelming volume. Look at Brisbane 2026 when Sabalenka played Muchova. Sabalenka hit the ball so hard and so deep relentlessly that Muchova simply did not have the physical time to improvise. You cannot play complex jazz when someone is screaming right in your face with a megaphone.
I love that image. It really shows that sometimes brute force actually is the high IQ play, if it successfully disrupts the opponent's creativity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you do not give them time to think their high IQ, simply does not matter.
Wow. Okay, we have one last profile to cover, and honestly, this one is the harsh reality of pro sports. We call this the solved player. The main example the sources use here is Amanda Anisimova.
This is a really tough one to watch unfold. And Nisimova has incredible raw talent, arguably the single best backhand on the entire tour. It's an absolute laser beam. But she has a known glaring weakness, a very unstable forehand, and she does not move particularly well side to side.
So the book on her is out. Everyone in the locker room knows how to play her.
It is not just outfined. It is bolded, highlighted, and underlined. In 2026, we saw top players like Andreeva and Pegula execute a absolutely ruthless strategy against her. They just pounded the forehand. They hit low, flat, heavy balls directly to the Anisimova forehand side over and over and over again.
And she has to know they are doing it on purpose. That has to be unbelievably frustrating.
She knows. She absolutely knows. And that is the second layer of the trap. It becomes intensely psychological because she's a perfectionist. When she starts missing that forehand because they are relentlessly targeting it, she does not just lose the point, she loses her entire composure. The head shaking starts, the racket throwing starts. She completely unravels.
So the opponent is not just attacking her physical technique, they're directly attacking her mind.
Yes. They know that if they keep pressing that specific bruise, she will eventually just hand over the match. That is the dark side of tennis IQ. Identifying the one single loose screw in your opponent's game and twisting it until the wheels completely fall off.
It is ruthless. It really is. So bringing this all back to you listening at home, we have gone from the rough brother with his one useless sledgehammer to the patient farming of Djokovic, to the mental battleground of Sabalenka, and finally the tragedy of the solved player.
It really changes how you watch the sport, does it not? You stop just tracking the yellow ball back and forth, and you start actually watching the decisions being made. You realize that the rough brother down at your local club is not losing because his arm is weak. He is losing because his deck of cards only has one suit in it.
He is out there playing Go Fish while the other guy is playing high-stakes poker.
And the true masters, the Rybikinas, the Djokovic, they're playing with a full deck. But the ultimate takeaway specifically from analyzing that Sabalenka-Rybakina match is know thyself.
Right. It is not just about having a plan B written down on paper. It is about having the deep self-awareness to know when you are actually too scared to use it.
Rybakina wins because she trusts her plan A implicitly under pressure. Sabalenka is on a very public journey to learn to trust her own evolution. High tennis IQ is not just knowing the geometry of the court, it is knowing your own mind. It is knowing when your ego is driving the bus instead of your tactics.
So next time you are watching a match on TV or even just hitting around on the weekend, look past the speed. Look for the actual construction. Ask yourself, are they building a point or are they just hitting a ball?
And maybe ask yourself, are you playing the opponent or are you just playing safely inside your own comfort zone?
I want to leave everyone with a final thought to chew on before we wrap up. We know for a fact that technique can be drilled on a practice court. You can go to the gym and build immense physical power. But match reading, that intuitive ability to see the matrix, to sense the opponent's panic before they even swing, is that an innate born talent, or can a true rough brother actually learn to see the game differently? Will they ever see the matrix, or will they always just see the ball?
That is the million-dollar question in coaching right there. Some say you can train it into them. Some say you're just born with that vision.
Definitely something to think about the next time you pick up a racket. Thanks for diving into the sources with us today. We will catch you on the next deep dive.